instead of, that pump, or there are different pumps, all of a sudden we could see the pattern. And when he showed this map, he persuaded, finally, the people that were in charge of the water pumps to put a lock on them until they managed to find the source of contamination. So that is how powerful an open mind in combination with data visualization can be. Now, I believe that's one of the single most important things that we can do, to work with how to be more open-minded in combination with trying to understand data. I've experienced something myself that I found very interesting. When I got my second child, Lotte, when she was born with a smaller hand. So she has one hand that is big and one hand that is small. In Swedish it's called dysmorphy. And this information is usually given to the parents already at this stage when there is ultrasound. So as a parent, the typical thing is that you get the information. So you will have a child that will have one big hand and one small hand. Now this information can make a parent start to thinking, how will this affect me as a parent? How will this affect the child? And what does this really mean? It is a point of information that is very siloed. And to me, it was a starting point to try to learn more about this particular subject. Because this point of information didn't say much. So I started to search on Google and try to learn as much as I could about how these children, how they feel about life, if they have problems of different sorts, being psychological, physical, and so forth. And after a few just hours of researching, I realized that all research are showing that these children are actually feeling better statistically from a psychological health point of view than the normal population. So it's actually, if you are born this way, you are more likely to have a good psychological health, to be popular in school, and to live a life that me as a parent really want my child to live. It's no guarantee, obviously, but it is certainly interesting information. Now, this has proven to be correct in the case of my daughter. She has no problem whatsoever, and she's having a good life. But when I talk with the doctors that I've got to know through this process, they're saying that parents react very differently. And the reason why we act differently is because this is something that touches the identity of being parent. And the problem is that the information coming from this data source compared to the information coming from the data source saying, well, this is a child that will have a great life, doesn't register in the same way for some people, because the feeling of that there is something wrong is so strong that we can't take the other source of information, because what we really should say is, wow, this is great. Because it is. Statistically, it is great. I mean, I don't need two hands for standing here talking with you. I don't have had any single profession in my life where I need hands. I had really bad sight though, so I had to laser my eyes in order to, or have glasses. That has been actually much more problematic for my life, because I've been visually we're working with graphic design and stuff. But given that the norm in society is that it's very normal to have that, we don't react to that point of information the same way. If the doctor would say, your child might have glasses when they grow older. Oh my God, how will this affect the child? We won't react that way, right? We will just like, okay, glasses, I have glasses, my wife has glasses, everyone has glasses, what's the point? Why are we bringing up this? We're having our child here. That is typically how norms work, right? And I see this pattern all the time. And when I've been researching this, there is quoted like this by scientists. Individuals subconsciously resist factual information that threatens their defining values. This is the biggest problem when you work with big data and visualization. And this is why it's so important to, when you present information, to be open-minded when you look at new information, but also to be able to communicate information in a way so you make people understand what it really means. And I guess that's what we're all working with here, being communicators and all. But even more importantly, if we are leaders, if we build organizations, if we create cultural environments, we always have to think about that we have to create environments where individuals can change in a way that doesn't feel so threatening. So that it feels okay to be different. That's why diversity is so important in organizations. Usually we talk about diversity in organizations being more like a gimmicky thing, like you get like a bonus point for diversity, I truly believe diversity is crucial in order to show a repertoire of different identities that people can take, and that make people more open to change, so that their identity actually can change, because changing identity is brutal, and we have to be able to catch people when they need to change. So I've been working a lot with publishers and so. I've been working with organizations that are called legacy organizations that obviously need to change. And usually they have all the information, they have all the means, in the beginning at least, before they go bankrupt, into change. But one of the things that stands in the way for change is that a lot of people, especially up in the hierarchy, they need to change their identity in their job descriptions and their titles and so forth. That is one of the most brutal things. And I believe that organizations need to take this seriously into consideration when building organizations, so that you can change a lot in your career and in your group. Or you can also say it like this: we sometimes make ourselves stupid to fit in. We have to be very, very concerned about this fact. Because you want to be this guy, right? You don't want to be like them. How can you be that guy that see clearly that this is wrong? It can be brutal to be the only one in the crowd that feels this is just not right. And the history about this photograph is that he was married and in love with a girl who was a Jew. So he was open for different identities, and he was open for that, and it was love, obviously, which is a very powerful way to make you open-minded for new people. So I think that we need to ask ourselves very often, what would I think if I wasn't afraid? If you're in a situation where you need to make decisions, I think this is a good little post-it note to have on your computer or in the room. What would I think if I wasn't afraid to change? All right. I'm now gonna continue and find a little segue to our workshop. And that segue I've called Why Most Advertising is Crap. Because most advertising is, right? And I have a little explanation to why most advertising is crap. Hey, I've been working with advertising for many years, so I can say that because I'm guilty for some of it, the crap, but I'm trying to do my best. One of the best quotes that has been said about advertising is this: the real fact of the matter is that nobody reads ads. People read what interests them, and sometimes it's an ad. The problem is with advertising, if we've known this for such a long time, why is most advertising still crap? And why do so many people think it's just painful and intrusive? Well, the problem is this. We have different expectations on what the media should deliver when you're an advertiser or a communicator compared to a consumer. There are conflicting goals, and the consumer goals, when you consume a media, being social media or reading in the newspaper or whatever, is that you want utility, information, and entertainment. That is the consumer goals. But the advertiser wants to reduce risk for other investments. I'll try to explain this if you're not following me. Imagine that you are manufacturing diapers. Okay? You're selling diapers to parents. And you made a huge investment in a new factory line where you're making new diapers. That is the big investment that you made. In order to reduce the risk that that investment fails, you have to make marketing. And that is why advertisers want to say, in a perfect world, in their perfect world, these diapers are great. Buy them. Because otherwise our investment will fail. So an innovation that you spend millions of money is an innovation that has to be loved. So, therefore, the advertiser only wants to point out the invention and why it's great. And they forget that these might be conflicting with the goals of the consumer. Now, the best advertising is when you align these two conflicting goals, like you do in any conflict. How can we live together when we have conflicting goals? Well, we need to have ideas on how we can align two conflicting goals. And when you do that, then you have the ideal communication, and you're making people love your advertising. And that is obviously also something that you can get to by being good in looking into the mental models of touch points. What are people looking for? And how can you optimize the touch point between what you want to communicate with the consumer and their objectives. And I will show you an example on a case that I've done a few years back, where instead of trying to push and talk about how great our mobile phone that we were marketing at the time, we were marketing smartphones, we were instead looking into how can we align the consumer's goals with our goals. I'll show you this case movie. Let's see here. All right, do we have some sound?
Challenge, considering most of it.
Yeah, we'll check from the beginning. Okay.
This summer, Sony Mobile sponsored Sweden's biggest festival, Way Out West. Our mission was to promote the new, well-received Xperia Z. Quite a challenge, considering most of the visitors are hardcore iPhone users. We know that our only way to win them over is to get them to try it out for themselves. So our strategy was to hit them when they're weak, when they run out of battery. We built a service station where people could charge their phone. This is when we struck them with an offer, the great phone swap. Live large while you charge. All their contacts and numbers were transferred, And it didn't take long until Xperia Z proved to be the best little buddy ever. Treats kept coming to all phone swappers to collect. And some of them got invited to meet top acts, like Miguel and Kendrick Lamar. A few lucky ones even got to swap for good and keep their new Xperia Z.
So a very simple insight. Instead of pushing and telling people how great this phone is, how can we help them with something they really need? When they run out of batteries, we can charge their phone and say, hey, we'd like to have this phone while waiting for your phone. So very simple insight. And that is typically, that kind of ideas are typically something that you get to if you're thinking more in this touch point process, user journeys. That you're mapping out people's user journeys in every situation and see how you can help them and try to align your goals with the consumer goals. So that was typically looking into how can we help people with utility. I will show another case that we did a while back, which is helping people with entertainment.
Just Dance Free is the fun dance game for everyone. For the launch, we wanted to prove that anyone can just dance, regardless of talent. Our answer was auto dance. This is how it works. Simply record 4 clips of someone moving. Then choose a track. Auto Dance will sync their moves perfectly to the music in a branded dance video. Videos were shared online and down the path, exposing Just Dance Free to a new diverse audience of millions. And more importantly, Just Dance Free became the best-selling game in Europe over Christmas. Auto Dance took on a life of its own.
It's called Just Dance 3 Auto Dance. We're running these all week.
The Just Dance 3 Auto Dance application.
And what started as a campaign for Just Dance Free became a part of the game itself, and Just Dance Free. All of this from a single app.
So I think there's also an interesting case of aligning the advertiser's goal that we got briefed on with consumer's goal to get entertainment, to have something with their phone that they can play around with, show that to friends, and by doing so we created engagement and we created a connection between the brand and the consumer that then lived as a relationship that they could monetize on when selling the real game. And they kind of closed the loop when they also actually took the advertising and made it into the product in the Just Dance 4. So here are, I think like gold standards on how you can align conflicting goals with help of great ideas. Obviously, you need some budget as well. But sometimes, you know, you can do it really lean and scrappy, if you like. So, so when we do workshop, let's see, I'm going to take away this one. Workshop later, later to today. We gonna use, you know, this as our, you know, goal. How can we align what our goals are with people's goals? And we're gonna use the method that I was introducing earlier in the speech. So I'm gonna work with you in groups in playing around with the idea of mental models, where we're mapping out processes with help of post-its and find gaps where there might be missing support or support systems that we can improve, and typically leading ourselves into better ideas, such as, well, maybe we can help people charge their phones and give them a phone that they can try, if making people try a phone is our objective. So this is what we're going to do in the afternoon, and hopefully we will be more open-minded and prepared if we use the thinking that I've been introducing in this speech. Thank you very much.